This thing has been here all day. You know, I don't have my glasses on, and I was just like, there's no way, and we just got here. But in the same spot all day, so I don't know. You know, remember what I said about the squirrels, what they do with the squirrels, how they will sit and watch me with, like, bugs and small animals? DARPA type shit, okay? Like, and I just turned the light out before we left, but look, it's my puppy Sloop. When we were at the Days Inn, right before we left, they were complaining about how other people were having experiences that they weren't, that someone was against me having, because they knew that I bring it to their attention. They were talking about roaches, okay? And literally, they threw a roach. I hate that I'm mentioning it now when I meant to talk about it when it happened, because it made me cry. Well, on that day it happened, you see me write in my planner that I cried, and it was what made me start crying. But my dog, he was resisting his food for no reason. And it's kind of like the African witchcraft type stuff. You see, you know how I'm not very familiar with all the different types, but you remember a movie I mentioned on Instagram recently when I talked about, when I was showing how the housekeeper, I think it was Bad Maid or something. Anyways, the housekeeper, she had wrapped up a rat and concealed it so you couldn't smell that it was dead or nothing. She had wrapped it, attached all kind of intentions to it, and put it under the mattress of the female who she was working for. And what it did was it kept her husband from sleeping with her. Her mom came around and asked, like, he hasn't wanted Poom Poom because she noticed that her husband was acting different. She said, he doesn't want to have sex with you. And she's like, no, he hasn't wanted to have sex. Her mom starts snooping around and finds it under her mattress. Someone had put it there. Anyhow, my dog, he wouldn't eat his food, okay? And every day I make sure I shake his kibbles, you know, in these type settings. And sometimes I move him from one location to another if I feel like he's like not eating them as much as he should. And on this day, I was using the bathroom. I was on the toilet, okay? And he was in there with me. I was petting on him while I was using. And the beds were complaining. And they literally threw a roach into the environment, so it didn't come from his pan or anything. Like, it literally just jumped out of thin air and ran along the side into the shower. And when it did, that's where I trapped it with the can before I later tortured it and flushed it down the bathroom, the shower drain. But yeah, and that's what was on it. Literally, once they did something to make it real. Okay, so they literally applied an attack, showed me what they had been doing, and were forthcoming about that stuff, okay? So show me what they had been doing to keep my dog from eating his food. They were making him think it was bad or it would make him sick, okay? And they threw that roach, like I said, in the thin air. Like, the trays were like, the pans were like this, literally right about here, because I was just looking at his food while I pet him. Like, just having thoughts about why he wouldn't eat, okay, and why I had to keep giving him other things like the wet stuff, just to make sure he would eat, you know, put something on his stomach. And it jumps like out of thin air right here, just boop, clear as day. You can't mistake it for coming from either of the bowls. Okay, and it jumps, it stays away from them, okay, in the thin air, away from along the edge of the wall into the shower. And like I said, that's where I trapped it. It's missing. Oh my god. Oh, I don't even say God. That just freaked me out so bad. I used a word I don't use. Puppy, we gotta find it.